Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Manchester United Agenda. It's the 18th of November already. Black Friday is nearly upon us, and I join you live tonight with two men who wouldn't let me put the thumbnail on that I wanted, despite it looking wonderful. Mr. B, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good, Princess. I'm good.
Yeah. Yabba, you've been in the wars.
Yeah, I have actually. Yeah, injuries are part and parcel of football, aren't they? And unfortunately, just as I was getting to my role as a goalkeeper, and we had a great result the other day. We won 7-1 against the top team in the league. But I'm not going to boast up about my league form just yet because we haven't got title-winning form as yet. That man would be Mr. B, which we're going to come on to very shortly. But yeah, we are playing really well, and it's a league that we start to really think we could actually win because it's quite balanced in this league. We did have a goalkeeper. I went in goal this season. I've done okay. I've saved 2 penalties. I've been improving it each week, but unfortunately, I came off the game the other day and my finger was bent, the tip of my finger. So I've actually, as you can see here, I've got a splint on now. It swelled up yesterday. I can show you pictures. It's really horrible. But I went to hospital this morning and I've got torn ligaments in my top of my finger. I've got a spleen on for 6 weeks and I'm out of action. So I won't be picking my nose, won't be wiping my bum, won't be washing up, won't be going in goal, and I won't be helping out with the setting up the shows anymore. I'm doing it from my phone. And to add insult to injury, my laptop was playing up as well. So as you can see, I'm doing it from my mobile phone. And thanks to Master Bath Time, he's quickly before the show told me how to adjust my phone so I can.
People don't need to know this, Yabba.
Yeah, but it's good. I'm just showing the expertise in this group. Not only do you have a man like yourself, Bath Time, who knows how the technical side of phones and to get things done, and just by Googling things to get things done, but we've also got an Alex Ferguson type Saturday League manager in the house as well, who's smashing it right now. And I want to hear all about it.
No, Yabba. Talk us through how you did that injury.
Thank you.
I'm in goal, right? And I've made a couple of really decent saves, like tip over the bar. Guy drove through, tried to curl it in like an Amorim goal, got down low, touched it wide. I was with when you're playing a game, you haven't got time.
Adrenaline.
Yeah, like Jesse Ventura said, I ain't got time to bleed. You know, in Predator, and you ain't got time to get your pain. It's true. It's true. It's true. I ain't got time to bleed, and you ain't got time to feel pain. You get through it, don't you? It's only afterwards you get your knocks and your adrenaline winds down. So when I came off the pitch, I realised I just took off my glove, and suddenly my fingers hanging like that, and I'm like, "Oh, guys, look, you know." And I didn't look like much at the time. By the time I got home and iced it up, it started to swell, and I was actually like crying out with pain last night due to the pain of it, and it swelled up big and fat. And then today I've gone to get it sorted out. I just want to say, big up. Let me just say this. I didn't want to go last night because didn't want to spend 8 hours in A&E. Spoke to my friend. He gave me some advice. He said, call 111, explain to what the injury is, then ask for a Pacific hospital called Mount Vernon Hospital, which used to be run by nuns. Yeah. It used to be run by nuns in Northwood, really posh part of Hillingdon. And you'll go there and you don't have to queue up, and you'll be seen straight away and you get done with. I'm like, yeah. But I've done that this morning. When they called at 8 o'clock in the morning, someone called me back. Mr. Ford, would you like to come at 10 o'clock? Yeah, I'll be there. Drove up there one-handed, pulled up, didn't even pay for a parking ticket, got seen straight away, had an x-ray within 5 minutes. The results, she gave me the results straight away. I was with the guy, triage guy or whatever. He's dealt with me, kind as everything. I was just like, wow, am I living in the 1970s or 80s again? It was service of the highest order. I will never go to A&E again. I'm going to do that. It's a little trick that we have now, and I'm saving it for special people. So Mr. B and Darius, if you ever need some tips on how to get the best out of the NHS.
Right, this is not health advice. Do not listen to Yabba. If you need to go to A&E, go to A&E.
Go to A&E.
Please. All right.
Anyway, enough about me. Let's let's talk about
We've got to
title
do the
winning
comments
form.
before we get to Alex Ferguson up here. Okay. All right. So first of all, we've got Steph in the house. We've got Bilal. We've got Matty. We've got Andrew saying which the future is now off. I believe it's the cable guy. We've got Chat Sport. We've got Simon Warner. Yeah, Matty, we're doing it now. And look at this, poor Simon. You're in the same boat with torn ligaments.
Is that what he did in his arm? Is that what?
Yeah.
Is that what Simon did?
But in happier news, yesterday was his 61st.
Happy birthday, mate.
Congratulations to you.
Happy birthday, Simon.
We've got Mehdi, who's saying fingers crossed, which probably isn't the right thing to say at the moment. Agile has dislocated his finger when he had to play in goal as a teenager.
Oh, ouch.
It's worse.
We got Bart in the house. More injuries are coming in. It's like Luke Shaw in here.
That's not a scar. Hand. That's a scar.
What's that from?
Jaws.
Hot Shots. Part
Jaws.
Okay. All right. Yeah. They compare scars and then they have sex.
Is it?
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of things getting banged, your team is killing everyone in the league, Mr. B.
I want to run, mate. I want to run. The smile doesn't come off my face every Saturday. They're doing all right. They do me proud this year. It's nice to have a squad of players. They just got to understand. I'm trying to explain to them that I need finishers. I need players who can come off the bench to change the game. And there's a few people who aren't happy. But look, the end game is winning something. Whatever we win, I don't care if it's a cup. I don't care. I want to win something. I don't want just promotion in second. I actually want to win something. So yeah, we're doing all right. We are doing all right.
How come has it all come together this season?
Yeah, we've got a few younger players who actually listen to instructions. My captain's now able to talk to these players without people thinking that they know too much. And they're sponges, to be fair. So now my team talk is very, very simple. It doesn't change much week by week. I don't care if we're playing home or away. We just go out there and play. And to be fair, we're doing all right. We're doing all right.
And how did you get on at the weekend?
And that 2-1 win. We scored all of the goals. We scored an own goal. He slid in along the goalie from 25 yards. Telling you, I'll tell you, we've got a centre-back who is mustard. And he went in for a slide tackle. And the ball kind of pinged off his foot and just flew straight over. The goalie was coming out. Just flew straight over the goalie. So but nobody moaned. We didn't cuss. Nobody. That's the good thing about the team as well. There's no I ams. There's no everybody's sort of a team. And after they come back, the youngsters do what they do. The older ones do what they do. And then we sit down in the bar and talk about the game for 15, 20 minutes, which is nice. So yeah, we got a vibe going on. And I said, bath time, there's a lot I owe you for this one, mate. I tell you. I said,
my pleasure.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I wish some of the people in the comments did.
Is it full-time FA where you can find your league table and results? Yeah. You're on there, aren't you? Full-time FA.
Yeah.
That's where any result, any Sunday, Saturday league, even Bath Times team in Wales, you can also find them as well.
Yeah, don't look for my team.
No.
No, I've always made sure.
Why not, Bath Time? How was your result at the weekend?
We lost 3-0. I was sick over the weekend. Like I had to leave work on Friday, so I didn't prepare myself properly. I didn't carb load on Saturday. I went there with a cold. I wasn't meant to play. We were 3-0 down at half time. I came on, like no power, no light. I had nothing in the tank. Do you know those games where you just completely drained? It was awful. I couldn't get away from fat plumbers and things like that. It was like being 16 again. we're going to talk later about this massive monster centre back that is a teenager at United who's 6'5". And when I was like 16, I was 5'3", and that's how I felt again. Like this weekend, trying to deal with people, and then of course people in the comments might have realised by now, but I get really eggy and stressed out about poor performances in any aspect of my life. Like Mr. B and Yabba know this very well. I can be quite temperamental and hot-headed. So I wasn't happy, and all these lads, right, afterwards they had arranged to go and watch Wales or something, and Sarah came to pick me up. She brought me a big coat and some soup, and got in the car passenger side, and she drove me home, and I sort of got back into bed, feeling ill and upset, and then the phone starts pinging, and one of those bastards had taken a picture of Sarah putting a coat on me and captioned it, "When your mum picked you up from school." And they've just been ripping me.
Oh my days.
Yeah. Like it annoys me because it's fine if you win to do stuff like that, but I want to win, and like, yeah, I think you're a bit like me, where it really plays on my mind when I lose a match, what I could have done better and stuff, and I just really wish that people had a similar attitude. Like when you win, it's fine to go down the pub and do all these things, but you
when you lose.
Not when you lose, especially not when I've had this fucking photo like every 10 minutes with different captions. I do genuinely look like I'm about 12 in it.
That is good bands. It sounds like good bands. Yeah.
It is good bands. All right. All right, so we're going to talk about some stories now. I know there's not a lot going on International Week, but as part of our International Week drive, we're trying to get more of the chat involved in actually playing football. So, Matty, etc., if any of you have played football, let us know the score, how you got on and stuff. Yes, Yabba, have you got some Tyrone news?
Yeah, I've got some Tyrone update. Really great bit of footage he sent me on I think it was on WhatsApp he sent me. Yeah, on WhatsApp. He sent me a video, and it looks like one of these, goals. They have a 7-a-side pitch. It looks like one of those big pitches, yeah. And I can't really see what's going on because it's taken from his TV. So you have to really zoom in. I couldn't see Tyrone. But, I think Tyrone's the only black guy in the village sort of thing, because I couldn't really pick him out. It was that bad footage. But someone played a ball from centre-back, which went through 3 lines from their forward line, midfield, and through the defence. One defence splitting ball all the way through, ping, right to feet, and the guy buried it. And I said, "Oh, great finish, Tyrone." And it wasn't. It was Tyrone who played. It was Tyrone who played the pass. Vision, ping, right through the middle. Just want to say that was a lovely piece of action. It's great to have that footage. I mean, in my day, I could talk about things in the past that no one remembers. But these days, you've got games being filmed, recorded. So yeah, if you want, I don't know if I can put it up, Tyrone, but any guys got footage or anything like that, special moments, make sure you send them in, and we'll put them up maybe once a week, because there's no copyright or anything like that. We're not going to get restricted or banned, are we? So we can put things up like that. For example, I've got footage of the goal, the team we played on the weekend. We beat them 7-1, but the goal they scored was from a set piece, and I've got footage of that, and you can see me in goal. Like flinching when they shot from about 6 yards away from me. I didn't realise I did that, but I went like that instead of like that. But yeah, any footage like that, I would love to see, guys. Just send it in.
I've got a great idea, Yabba. Like how on some channels you can't type unless you've been subscribed for 5 minutes. We should do it where you can't type unless you send in a video of yourself doing 5 keepy uppies.
Wicked. It's really funny. I saw a guy the other day saying if I could do 100. It was a friend of mine on Facebook saying if I could do 100 kick-ups, I'll do something to charity. It's a joke. I realised it's a joke because he kept editing it. If you went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 76, 78, 79, 91, 90, it's 2 free splits, it's like, oh yeah, we've seen.
Is that hard for like normal people to do?
bath time, you do the trick called the sevens, which is like Diego Maradona, left foot, right foot, left knee, right knee, shoulder, head, or something, whatever it is. I can't do that, but I'm sure, like, I've never been good at kick-ups. I can probably do, if you ask me on the spot, I could probably do about 50 maybe on my knees. On my knees.
Really?
With my feet. Maybe I could do 50. If on my knees.
I would have to.
If I was to get on my knees, I can pop, and I'm all right. I can get going, but it's so difficult, like with your feet. It's like when you go for, when players turn up for like the opening of their signing, and you see these players, do a trick for us, doing something. Yeah, professional footballers should be able to do that. So I'm not a professional, so I've got no excuse. But I know Bartha can do it. Mr. B, can you?
I do kick. I'll do 1 foot, 1 foot. Don't talk about shoulder and knee. I don't use shoulder in a game of football, so I've never had to work out how to work it.
I can do lovely passes off your shoulder.
I'm not that technically minded. I'm not now.
How many can you do? Like, I reckon in your prime, easily 100, surely.
Yeah, easily. Yeah. Even now, I would like to think, after a little warm up, you want to get the technique right.
Yeah,
I would like to think that I could do 50. I would like to do between 50 and I would like to think I could do between 50 and 100.
You know what?
Let us know if you genuinely, like, if you can't do it, don't worry about it. But
I want to do it. I want to try it on Saturday. I want to try it on Saturday.
100 keepy uppies is seen as a difficult thing. So if you can do 4, you can do 100.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, if it has to be left foot, right foot, if I have the option of whether the ball goes, then it's fine. But if it has to be left, right, I think that would probably make it more difficult. But if it's, if I want to do 5 on the right and 2 on the left and then knock it back to 5, then I think I could do it. But I wouldn't be able to do it regimented left, right.
That's how you wouldn't be able to do it like that. Okay.
Yeah,
I know. Paul Gasser, when we were kids, Paul Gasser was the man, and he did kick-ups with just 1 foot, not touching the ground, the same foot. So imagine you're planting your left foot and you're kicking up your right foot.
Harder.
Little touch. Yeah. That's what we used to try to do as a skill, and I found that really difficult.
Yeah, that's much harder than going left, right.
Yeah, of course. But it's a good idea there, Bartha. Anyone in the comments who wants to send in a video, and we can just put them up and we can say it's like a leaderboard. Who can do the most?
I'm gonna attempt one on Saturday.
Good.
I'm gonna put the phone down by the pitch and I'm gonna do it.
Good. I look forward to that. Well, we see that next Monday then. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh my god!
All right, let's have a little look what the comments are saying. Matty Bassett won 8-0, 3 assists, 1 goal. He had the lads in for extra training last week, and it paid off.
Wicked, mate. Well done, bro.
Excellent.
That's class.
You ever play basketball, Yabba?
I did, yeah. When I was in school.
You're better than Jordan, weren't you?
Yeah.
I could have made it. NBA. No, basketball was kind of big in the 80s when Michael Jordan started getting going, and we used to play. We used to have access to the sports hall, Greenford Sports Hall, back in the day. We used to go there every day, summer holidays for free, and we used to play a lot of basketball. So yeah, I did play a bit. Good. Yeah, kind of football was my thing, but I could play a bit.
Yeah,
not great.
Well, we got our first challenge from Andrew Williams, of all people. I bet everyone here I could do between 300 and 400 knee-ups on camera next week. I'll bet everyone 20 quid. Right. We'll dip into the.
I'll take that.
We'll dip into the funds.
I want some of that.
That's no problem. I love that, Andrew.
No editing, please.
The thing is that he'll only show his legs, so we need some way of knowing.
That is him, really.
We need a Mr. B face tattoo, just a
temporary. They do AI now, great face mask thing, where you can put your face over somebody like Neymar or whoever. So yeah, it'd be great, Andrew. That's a great challenge, man. If you could show us. That'd be great.
He said he's just 1'6" and he's on the vet.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
We need the evidence.
Oh God.
Simon was earlier asking if he is the eldest person here. It doesn't matter, Simon. If your heart is Manchester United, then Like we're not ageist here.
We're all young at heart.
Yeah, except for me, I'm old at heart.
No, you're not, Parter. No.
Can't wait until Sunday for Amorim's baptism of fire. I've never been so excited about a game.
I'm so glad. You know what? I've been trying to hold it in. I'm trying. I feel like a fucking kid. I feel like a kid. Anytime I've gone into work and we've got a couple of United supporters on the desk and we've been depressed. Like, you know, you come in and nobody wants to talk. We got QPR who are bottom of their league talking to us in conversations. But I actually feel genuinely like proper. I don't know what to expect. I don't know. I don't watch Porto. So to me now, everything that sorry. Yeah, I don't watch either of them. So
brilliant.
Everything to me is going to be so exciting and so fresh.
Yeah.
These players who have been dead. I mean, I'm not expecting them to play like, you know, Superman, but I'm expecting to see some sort of pattern or some sort of system where I'm thinking, wow, look what he's done to that guy. You know, I'm expecting a win. I'm not expecting a 7-0 or an 8-0, but I'm expecting these players who have done nothing to suddenly be inspired. So yeah, I'm buzzing.
I feel like it's Christmas, you know, like when you're a kid and it's like December the 18th or something, and you're just excited about sweeties and presents and things like that. That's how I feel. I'd never really felt particularly behind Ten Hag. His fullbacks always worried me. I worried about his personality. Amorim, I'm a little bit worried. He's a little bit naive. Like, it's because you know, they come in and they're so happy and they're so confident, and you're like, just you wait. In the next half, that lovely mane of hair is going to be grey. But I feel that there's a renewed hope around the club. Like, it's the first like Ineos man. I'm really excited that we've sort of cut away from Ten Hag and we're going in and we're not going to play a version of his system. It's all new, it's all fresh. Everyone's got a new chance. Like, yeah, but are you excited or are you more cautious?
Yeah. No, I share your enthusiasm, guys. I really do. I'm being so excited. Like Mr. B was saying, when people come up to talk to you about football and Man United, a lot of people have been asking us lately, coming up and saying, "Oh, what do you think about Amorim and thing?" And I'm saying it in cool, but inside I'm really stirring up, really excited. And like you say, it's only a few days to go before we play Ipswich away, I think it is. And we get to see, first of all, what the starting lineup is, and secondly, most importantly, how we perform, how the players respond. And I think it's really, really exciting time for us as a club. We're only 4 points off top four, and there's opportunity here. It's great timing, is it, to really turn this around and try and sort of push up the table and start to represent for who we really are. Not these sort of fake pretenders that we see, all these players, you know, that are not performing to their ability based on, for whatever reason. That's all in the past now. We've tried to solve problems. We tried to, you know, work things out with Ten Hag and thing, but it just seems like a weight off our shoulders, and we can start fresh with a young, proactive manager who talks really well. I heard an interview the other day where he was saying about, I played in so many positions. I never played striker or goalkeeper, but I've played all over the park. And I think he was trying to get a message over to the players. To have a good team, you need to be like flexible. It's like me. I'm in the team. I play in goal for the team. I play anywhere for the team, and that's how you should be. And that's it. Like the Borg collective. You know, one voice. and what do the Borg do? They go around and they consume. What's the word?
They assimilate, don't they?
Assimilate, that's it. They assimilate the whole club, and resistance to their power is futile. And I can see us being the Borg of the league, taking over and running things. It's exciting, and yeah, let's see what happens this Sunday. But yeah, inside there's butterflies, there's excitement, and I can't wait to tune in and watch it for myself.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the comments. Nothing like, there's not a lot going on really tonight, but Steph is saying that Shaw and Rashford are now on their 5th permanent manager.
Jesus Christ, when you think of that, that's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Almighty.
I mean, it's just crazy. But like, okay, we've got a couple of stories to get into. But before we get into the stories, but is there anything that you want to talk about this evening that has caught your eye?
Football wise, not really. No, I've had a rough few days and things, so I've been off the boil. But I just want to talk about England, 5-0 win, which is really big. But they did have 10 men against Ireland, and they also went to Greece, which I thought was a great result. They went away from home to Greece and done really well. They reversed the loss they had at Wembley. And both times I actually watched both games. I know people like Mr. B said, I don't watch international football, but I was really impressed, especially when you bring in younger players and under 21 guys. And there's a lot of guys, the Hall, the left back, for example.
Any Man United players come on?
No, only Angel
it?
Gomez. Angel Gomez, former Man United player. You know I love him. But I just think it's England were pretty good to be able to get 2 good results. And I think it shows you, like you said, it's the collective that matters, and it doesn't matter. You don't have to play Kane. You drop Kane, for example. It's about getting the best out of the players. And that guy, the Chelsea winger, Madeke, whatever his name is,
Madueke,
yeah. He's he had an opportunity to shine, and he played well in both games. So I like the look of what they're doing, and sometimes I think games like this, if you use it for the right way. Because obviously Kane brought up the thing about squad rotation and players not playing or not turning up for international duty. But when you got these so-called things like meaningless national league games or Nations Cup game, or whatever, if you utilize them to the best of your ability, bring players in and rotate, say, right, you're on form, you're coming in, then you can maximize it and make it the best for England. And that's what they've done really well over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, but that's Harry Kane. Like, he has no legacy of club football, does he? No. It's just international. So I think he's kind of like speaking for himself. Well, I'm interested. Did you watch the Ireland game? I did.
Yeah, I did.
Did Ferguson play for Ireland?
Yeah, I did watch him because obviously they've done a big build-up for Ferguson, and obviously you spoke about Ferguson, which we do agree with. You said he's one of the most exciting young players his age group. Strikers. And he's got game. He scored in midweek against Finland, and obviously he wasn't getting much possession or play, but you can see his physicality. He's got a good touch on him, but it didn't get much to shine.
Did he look good?
If he did have an opportunity to show much, do you understand what I'm saying? You want to see him in a game where it's more competitive, and Ireland were competitive. They was just sitting back and just hoping. There was a guy impressed me though for Ireland, the black guy who played on the wing. And every time he got the ball, he would just dribble and do a Morgan Rogers and just glide past players. I don't know who he is, but he stood out.
All right. Well, in the comments, we got Diggs, by the way, coming from Twitch. Lovely to see you.
How you doing, bro?
Having a bad time over at Twitch. POTUS has joined the fun.
How you doing, bro?
And Bart is saying that, like, no Man United players in the England squad. And to be honest, we don't have a lot of guaranteed starters in many international teams at the moment, such as the position we're in. But hopefully that's an extra bit of motivation for the lads. I don't want to talk about Tyson versus Jake Paul. Do you, Yabba?
I don't, because I would say something controversial, and I don't want to talk about that fight or the people. I'm done with that sort of thing. I don't want to talk about it because I'll say something really bad.
This is the only thing I know about the Ireland game is that Roy Keane's future son-in-law scored for England.
The Hall boy.
Yeah. Which, I mean, interesting. Imagine that at Christmas, the Keane household. Matty's given us some bollocks, I think. French media reporting United looking at Greenwood and he's open to returning. I can't see that myself. Do you, fellas?
No, I don't see that at all.
Andrew is saying that Mark Gay was played well.
He was good.
Is he ready for a step up, do you think? Champions League football?
I don't know. Still question mark to me, yeah.
Okay.
God, they're really going in on Harry Kane. Don't like Harry Kane. Look at this, God. And Mr. Potus is saying fair play. And it was Harwood Bellis, not Lewis Hall. All right. Our first story is well, yeah, but I mean it's international week.
It's all right.
Stuff,
it's all right.
Alphonso Davies keeps cropping up as Manchester United's #1 target. He is a Canadian, like Bayern Munich, like left back, left winger, certainly an attacking player. But I think it's a difficult deal to do, as Real Madrid are rumoured to be interested in him, but perhaps their attention has turned to Trent Alexander-Arnold. But do you think that there's anything we can gather from this, such as the fact that we're looking at a very attacking player for the left wing back role? Like, talk to me about it.
Well, first of all, this is what you have to think. I've got family in Canada, and my cousin passed away the other day. Rest in peace, because she's only 50 years old. But Toronto's got a huge Jamaican and Haitian community, out there in Toronto. And Canada's vast, isn't it? I mean, it's so big. But football is massive out there. My cousin Leon, he's tried to train football for years, and it's only now just building up, and they're doing really well. Obviously, they've got some teams in the MLS and to do this, that. So it's great to see some players come through. We've seen quite a few recently with Jonathan David as well. But Alphonso Davies is exceptional. He came as a winger. He's been around. He's been known about for some time. Germany, Bayern Munich brought him in and really developed him, and now he's turned to a left back, and he's pacey. He could be in the Canadian relay team. With Donovan Bailey and Ben Johnson, he's that quick. He's amazing, isn't he? And he's just, like you say, it's like a Valencia, Ashley Cole, like we were discussing the other day, a winger that's been trained with the right mindset to play a role as left back and also be attacking. And also with we've seen these systems today, especially with Amorim, to be able to have the ability to do something going forward. So maybe he's thinking. There's a few factors for me. One might be he's grown up with Man United, or someone in his family like Man United. So he's always thought to himself, I want to play for that side one day and turn things around. Two, the system, the manager. The manager actually said he was so impressed with Brailsford and what they're doing. They must have some sort of like great induction program where people get really turned on and say, yeah, I like what these guys are saying, And I think Alphonso Davies, obviously things have been sent out because he's on a free and he's the most desirable player at that sort of position. So maybe someone's had contact with him and turned his head and started to think, wow, I can be a part of something special here. And also for him as well, he is a natural winger. So by playing wide in a system that we will be playing under Amorim, that could be attracted to him as well, rather than going to Real Madrid as a left back or going to, and he's seen what's happened to Vinny Jr., for example, in Spain, and what happens to sort of a few black players in Spain as well. A lot of negativity, a lot of isolation sometimes, So why not come to an English-speaking country, a legendary club at Man United, turn their
abused in English?
Well, yeah, but it's kind of different because it's an English-speaking country. There's brothers around him. Maybe who knows who he talks to at Man United, who could be helping. He's Haitian, So, and who knows? So I think there's a few factors. The system, playing in the position where he could get further up the pitch naturally, playing in England for a club that maybe someone in his family or himself secretly supports, and playing under Amorim as well, and this new project that we're under. So who knows? A year ago I would say no chance, but I'm starting to think there's something in it because it keeps coming up with stories.
All right, well, I was squeaking because I just saw Andy Robertson win a game for Scotland 2-1, which is always nice to see for my dad. But we're going to go through some of the comments before we get to you, Mr. B, and your thoughts on Alphonso Davies. Chat Sport is just going, no, doesn't fancy him. Mr. POTUS, bear in mind that despite being the president of the United States, Mr. POTUS is also Canadian. And he's saying that Fonzie Davies would be the signing of the century for us. never forget what it's like when someone, you know, from your country signs for the team you support. 'Cause we've never had a Canadian, have we? I'm not sure Hargreaves counts.
No, played for England. No.
Yeah. Andrew wants Nuno Mendes or Tio Hernandez. And Tio Hernandez would be incredible, but I can't see us getting him out. Agile Beast wants Jonathan David and Alphonso Davies. Jonathan David is a player. He reminds me a lot of Lautaro Martinez at Inter. Very, very good statistics, but no one ever moves for him. And you always have to ask yourself, like, why? Yeah, you have to ask yourself why. And Jonathan David is a player that I've got a lot of question marks over. Okay, Quenda, the 17-year-old like Tyro, is on the radar, but I'll just do the story now. We're not spending in January, is what's come out today, and we'll move on to that.
I mean,
yeah.
He's
He's valued about 50 million euros, I think. We're not spending that.
No way.
But Davis is in the final year of his contract, so we could get him signed up in January. Like, it would be brilliant if we could sign him on a free and then get a loan for him just to come over early in January. That would be fantastic. And then, like, we'd have taken him and Mazraoui off Bayern Munich, and like that. Well, yeah, we'll see how De Ligt gets on. Bart is saying that we're going to have to pay 300,000 euros a week to get a player of Davis's quality.
So we're already paying Wasteman Rashford, not Wasteman, but we're already paying Marcus 315. Bruno isn't going to be far off it. He's going to be on a free. So
Casemiro as well is on a lot of.
I forgot about him. Yeah.
But I mean, you can see where it goes on both of them. Like, have you seen them pictures of Rashford out and about with like covered in jewelry, and then Casemiro just wobbling about Disney World? And then we've got a list of some other all good wing backs: Thringpong, Theo Hernandez, Nuno Alfonso. I think Dumfries is a player that might come back into the reckoning again soon. Whereas Chatsport, he wants Robinson at Fulham. Are you American, Chatsport? Like, is it like, do you not like Alphonso Davies because he's a dirty Canadian and you only like Americans? POTUS he's still banging on about Alphonso. See, Rashford's game changing for the good. This is good. Mason Mount, Canadian.
Brilliant.
Now, like, look at this. Where they're going on about Xerxes. We can talk about Xerxes next, actually. No, I'm not calling you dirty, Mr. Photo. How can I call you dirty? You live in a White House. And Chatsport isn't American. Surprised Rashford's not lining up for a boxing match with Tyson. I mean, I expect Jake Paul's going to fight Biden next or something ridiculous.
So great.
And yeah, Mr. POTUS is enjoying himself. Sometimes we do worry with offended people, because you can't tell from the comments. Right, next big bit of news.
Wait, you haven't heard from Mr. B about Alphonso Davies?
Yeah. Sorry, Mr. B.
No, that's all right. I would have just answered the next question. It would have been an issue to me. I think we can get him. I think Brailsford and Barada have the gift of the gab. I think they do want to pull off a big one next summer. And we got Euro this year, broke Real Madrid. The one thing that Real Madrid don't do is break their wage structure. Yeah, Mbappe's in there and they've had to pay him whatever the signing on fee was. But there's ways to make things work. And I'm not ruling it out. The fact that, I mean, it could just be English press that are pushing this and then Spanish press are going the other way. But come January the 1st, if Real Madrid don't say he's signing, then I think we're in with a chance. They will put a package to Alphonso Davies where it could be, not saying they're going to be paying him 500 because they're not going to do that, but they will make it more attractive than what Real Madrid's offer is, and then it'll be up to him.
Yeah, I think also what you've got to remember is that, like, Bayern Munich are a big club. But Manchester United, it's a different beast for someone like him because of the Canadian stuff and like maybe what he wants to do with his career afterwards. Like we're the biggest club in the English-speaking world, and with the World Cup being in Canada, or at least partly in Canada, I can see us making a really good proposal with our sort of sponsors and our contacts and things that gets him across. But I've got a breaking bombshell. I just had a little look at Twitter.
Oh no.
It's good news, I think. It's crazy news. Someone has been taking photos of a training session with permission, and would you like to know who's playing at right wing back in the training session?
Rashford.
Not Rashford.
Garnacho.
Not Garnacho.
Bruno.
It is a winger though.
Oh, it's a winger.
Ahmad.
It's not Ahmad.
Anthony.
It's Anthony.
Wow, yeah.
Pardon?
Like,
What do you mean?
Retribution.
Retribution for what, bruv?
So he might be able to turn it around. You never know.
And
you never know.
I understand Amorim.
I'm not talking about, when I say turn around, I don't mean like being on the ball. But
do you think Anthony has the technical ability, the attitude to do that after he was told to play left back for half a game, sulked and moaned twice in 2 different games about having been? Come on, do you think that he's got that in him?
Yeah, of course, 100%. 100%. Mr. B, he's been on his face. His reputation has been soiled. He's got nowhere to go. New manager comes in.
Why is that?
Because he's with a bit of arrogance and he hasn't performed for the money that he's had playing in that system. He's been terrible and he knows it. So he's got time for some retribution and trying to turn it around. So if he's got the right attitude and mindset, the manager says, look, I'm going to give you an opportunity. You got to do A, B, and C. Keep it simple. Do your job. I think he's got the opportunity to prove everybody wrong. And sometimes that's what you need. Rather than, sometimes when you lose, like when a boxer loses, they say it's the best things ever happened to them because they come back and makes them stronger and wants them to train harder. You learn from your mistakes, the pain that you've been through.
You'd rather not have lost.
No, but sometimes if you don't lose, you end up being like, you've seen Rocky 3, haven't you? You get slack. You get slack because you're winning all the time, taking on bums. And when there's really some real contenders out there, like Clubber Lang, who's really, working hard behind the scenes. And when the reality hits and it's a real fight, you lose. So I think Anthony's got an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? It's an opportunity for him to actually turn it around. And he's probably doing his best in training and saying, I want to be flexible. You want me to play there, sir? Yes, I will. Because there's nowhere but down if he leaves Man United. I think it's a fair assessment to say that he's got a good opportunity to show something and surprise a lot of people. So all the things we thought he did. Look, when you look at it, has he got technique? Yes, he's got very good technique.
No,
yes, he has got good technique.
He's one of the worst ball strikers I've seen.
He's a good dribbler. Forget that. He's a good dribbler. Okay, he's got good first touch. He's got good skills. He can drop a shoulder and can beat a man. If he breaks it down and makes it simple, simplifies his game, then he can do it. Has he got the attitude? Yes, he's a born winner. That's the reason I felt that we bought him, because he's hungry. He wants to prove himself, but he's just got to channel it in the right direction. Maybe Amorim has got an opportunity here to sort of get to the psychology of his player, get him to work properly, make him simplify his game, and get the best out of him. So I'm not giving up on him. I think anyone at our club's got an opportunity, and this is someone is a serious contender who could really be a first team player if he gets his act together up here and wants to perform. Because, like I say, if he's got that fire inside of him, he's got the eye of the tiger. He can do it. He can really sort of turn it around. And I keep referring to Rocky 3. When Rocky lost, he was fighting a certain way. He got complacent. He's winning big things. He was fed bums. He didn't realize it. And Apollo got him and trained him how to dance. And he said, there is no tomorrow. Yabba. There is no tomorrow.
Thank you. And the thing is, right, is that we've got to get you on American political shows. You'd be absolutely incredible after a candidate has been absolutely demolished in a debate.
Smashed again.
I've just never heard such a load of rubbish about good attitude, good technique, a dribbler. You can't be being serious, right, Mr. B? I'm gonna pivot and say what I think is happening. We have seen we've got a player called I've written it down. Hang on. He's called Goodwill Kukoni. 6'5", 16, left-footed centre back. He's training with the first team. I would be absolutely bloody stunned if we saw that boy play this year, because you do not put 16-year-olds out in the Premier League at centre back. It's never happened before, so I doubt it will happen for us. But the fact that he's left-footed and is a centre back is why I think that he's training, because it's part of the game model and things. I think Anthony is training at right wing back because they're thinking about an inverted fullback, and he's just a bit of meat to be used.
Can I jump in? Thank you, Bath Time. You've taken the words more eloquent than I would have said it, but that is exactly what I was. He's filling spaces. He's padding out. They're padding. He's got these players out on international duty, and he's got a system that he wants to play. He's going to play the closest players. Anthony has no chance. He's got no chance on Monday. For all of that glass full talk you had, he's got no chance.
Watch your space. What you're saying?
I don't know. I do. Look, Bath Time. You know full well. Come on. Behind the scenes, you're a man about mentality. What gives you that drive to get up every day and do the thing and perform to be the best? What gives you that? Sometimes you have to come from nothing to work your way up. And I think when you have trials and tribulations in life, you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, this is an opportunity. Thank you, Lord. This is an opportunity to turn it around and prove people wrong. People who have written him off, people said he's nothing and he's just a joke of a player. That hurts. That hurts, it really does. We heard what Phil Jones said about all the mocking he had, about all his facials and all the, being injured and how people mock. We're in that age of that, and it really hurts a lot of people. We on the Man United agenda, look at us, we get mocked all the time, and we go home and cry after the show, about it. But Anthony's honestly on this stage. You see Garnacho getting mocked the other day by Faz, and it shows. And then apparently he was crying, he was upset, and didn't want to celebrate his goal. Do you know what I'm saying? So it does affect players. So imagine how Anthony feels. Imagine that. So if you've got an opportunity to turn it around, we will see the true character of the man. A bit like with Harry Maguire. Everyone doubted him, but he had thick skin and he stuck with it, and then he got his time and he performed really well and got Player of the Month.
This is too far.
Maybe Anthony will be Player of the Year one day. Who knows?
No, but this is too far, because Maguire gave everything for the team, his manager, and the players. Right? Sometimes he wasn't quite up to it and things, but he trusted in himself. He worked hard and he got back in. No one can take that away from Maguire. Anthony has refused to play and complained about playing and all these things. That's a very, very different measure of a man.
No.
Yeah, but past is the best predictor of future performance.
And what's going to happen is he'll be normal, he'll be that guy for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and then slowly but surely, it's like, what's that? I'm a celebrity at Big Brother. They come in there with this act. After a while, when their belly's hungry, you understand, you start
to your true colors.
Right. You know what I mean? So I see Anthony played in a formation and doing a system, padding it out until Ahmad is fit, or until whoever else he decides is going to be playing on that side.
Can I just pose a question to you, Mr. B, and Bath Time? Considering, I know it's International Week and some players are away, but who else would be considered if it's going to be inverted, right-sided wing back or wide guy? He's got a left foot. He fits the bill. He ticks the boxes. Like you said, he's a crash dummy, whatever, fill it in for now. But who else would be considered for that position?
Ahmad.
If that's the case.
Sure.
You think Ahmad?
Or sure. Hold on.
I'm not sure.
Inverted. So you're going to... hold on. I'm just had a thought. So this is the right side, right? You think you would play Shaw on, you think you would play Shaw on the other side?
I don't know.
Malacia?
Maybe. I mean, like, the thing is that Quenda was inverted, as it were, or like... So, if you're playing Anthony out there, like, regardless of if he's going to do that long term or short term or just for training, the key thing is that he's left-footed, so he's going to. And also, shout out to Lone Star Londoner. You can see exactly where he lives in London from his profile picture. He's saying it's interesting if the incumbent, being Amorim, can get better results from these players. We bloody hope so, Lone Star, and it's lovely for you to join us. I think that might have been the Highlands of Scotland or the Lake District. Let us know. But but to get to it, Mr. B, it's because he's got a left foot that is there. So the two players that are nearer the first team for me are Shaw and Ahmad.
Well, Malassia's, if he's looking to play Shaw over there, I don't see why he's not going to play Malassia over there.
Yeah, but mainly it's because Shaw is like more of an established Premier League player than Malassia. Yeah. I know he's injured the whole time.
I said they haven't even showed any pictures of Shaw on the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but I would think like I would, if you're playing a right wing back that's inverted, I'd play Shaw if he's fit over Anthony. Because I know everyone talks about players throwing managers under the bus and all that stuff. I think Anthony is the worst I've seen for it at United for the way he acted for Ten Hag. Like he's not a Manchester United player to me with that attitude. Like just complaining, like going on, like making a fuss on the bench at the FA Cup final. I mean, like Ruud did that. But that was Ruud van Nistelrooy. It's a different kettle of fish with Anthony, who's just been one of the worst signings we've ever had. And it sickens me, the idea that he just is going to get a chance and then start performing. I don't like this. I think for his past behaviour, he should be out by January.
Well, I think it's a clean slate for a lot of the guys. And there's an opportunity to turn it around. Like I said, I just think
it should be, though. Do you think
yes, it should be. It should. Bath time, please. On this one, the guy's young. He's made a lot of mistakes at a young age. All right, it's not like he's 27, 28, 29. I mean, Neymar's been going to Carnival and getting injured every February for all his career. That's a P take, you know. Anthony, as like with Ronaldo, when he first came at the club, was doing things that wasn't right for the club, as in dribbling too much, too many tricks, too much foolishness. He turned it around, you know, and we didn't give up on him. I just think that there's too much emphasis on like one trick that he's done, or I think don't deny his attitude. He works hard. He wants to be loved. He wants to be adored by you guys, especially you, Mr. B. He wants to be adored by you. He wants to be adored by the fans. You can see that about him. That's the hunger. So you should channel that in the right way and say to him, just simplify your job, bring it down, bring people into play, and you'll get joy further up the pitch. Stop these stupid passes. Just play it simple. Just follow instructions to a certain extent. Play the game simply. I think he's a good enough player to actually be effective for us. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that's down to his attitude. But here's an opportunity for him to turn it around. And he cannot say that he didn't have the opportunity. If he leaves the club and doesn't make it, I won't feel sorry for him, because he's been given another chance here to shine and prove the player that he feels he wants everyone to think he is.
Yeah, but that's complete misrepresentation of the point that I made, which is
how so?
It was about should they get a clean slate? Because
and my response to you was his age. He's done that in the past as a youngster, up to 23 or 24 now. Now he's got opportunity to turn it around. That's what I'm saying. The past, you talk about reference and all that kind of thing. That's true, very true. But if I'm a prisoner, if I just come out of prison and I'm reformed and I'm rehabilitated, but I've got a terrible record, for the crimes I did, are you going to discriminate against me because of that?
No, because that's completely
yes,
different.
You are.
No, I'm not.
You, Mr. B, you said I look like I'm waiting for an interview right now, but I'd hate to be on the panel with a CV of being a criminal record with you two, the way you two are so biased about what you've done in the past.
You're misrepresenting the point. If you're drawing comparisons with the rehabilitation service of the penal system, which no one has brought up. What I am saying is that when you come in as the manager, like Amorim, and you see what they have done, football heritage, in the past, should you actually be coming in and thinking they all get a clean slate? Or will you be going to Brailsford, who did all those player interviews? Will you be asking around? Will you be looking at them the way I would look at them? Say, I'm not sure. This guy's let so many people down.
Yeah.
Why would he not let me down?
Give them tests. That's what you do. Tests to break them, to show their true character.
Yeah.
You want to know, you don't want the bullshit early. As Bath Time said, talk to Brailsford. Oh, he doesn't want to play at left back. He doesn't want to play. You know what you do in training? You put that fucker in it and you see once he starts.
And he's done it, actually.
Yeah, right. You break him. You break him early. You know what I mean? You
test him.
Yeah, you get that shit out of the squad. So no, I'm definitely not having Anthony in this first team and anywhere near it. But said you are forever the optimist, Yaba. I've realized that I used to think you were doing it just to wind me up. I used to come up to show this bloody guy's taking the pick. Solo, what have you got this arse on here for? But I've realized you are proper with it. So I'll just have to accept. And you will accept that when me and Bath Time are doing the happy jig because Anthony's gone, because he's been pathetic, you'll have to understand why.
All right. We will see. Let's say watch this space. Watch this space. Let's see what happens.
Well, I mean, there's not a lot of interest in defending Anthony from the comments, but Mehdi, when you know him as well as I do, it's Mehdi. Anthony can actually have a new beginning under Amorim. He might be a good wing back in a 3-4-3, possibly.
Yeah, but we were talking about him going on the other side. I didn't know it was an inverted version of nothing. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it also said that Yoro was playing a right centre back, and of all the options that we've got for right wing back, he might see Anthony as probably the guy that would help a teenager having his debut in the Premier League out the most. But it might be because he does track back.
You've got your yabba head on here.
Maybe.
On, man.
I thought you were joking.
I'm not joking.
Serious,
I'm not joking.
Well, good for you.
Anthony, I mean, thing is, Yabbers, I always remember that City game where, do you remember we did the eye test and like Anthony was hiding in that game defensively? He was looking busy and things like maybe because you got to think that if Yoro is coming in and Yoro is the future, the relationship with the right wing back is going to be key to that. Like, and Yoro's an inexperienced player. You wouldn't want Yoro and Ahmad, for example, on that side because there's not enough there. There's not enough experience.
Mr. B. Mr. B.
Yeah.
Mr. B, once again, right, we know we've all got our traits in this. You say I'm too optimistic. You're a bit snappy sometimes. But we know that Bath Time holds a grudge. And he's certainly holding a grudge about what people have done in the past here with footballers in the past. So Bath Time, be open to a new beginning, please. And let's just watch this space to see what happens.
All right. I'm open to it, but yeah.
I know he's upset you.
Yeah. All right. Prison Break, Hunger Games hybrid. I think does Garnacho not have loads of tattoos at Prison Break? I think he does. Got 14 likes, and we've got V saying Yabba is an optimist, a trait rarely seen in this sad, cruel world. Jesus, V.
I know it.
What is this?
Oh, he's got V for Vendetta. Is that the picture of V for Vendetta?
Yeah, the one. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Bath Time trying to wind up Yabba. I wasn't actually.
Not happening.
No, not at all. All I have to say is that Captain America should have been reverted to his like weedy self in the Avengers to wind up Yabba, which I do believe. Anthony works hard. He has the discipline to fit as a wing back, and he has the ability to get to the line and make crosses. Fits Amorim style pretty much to the teeth. I mean, Mehdi, show me him getting to the line and making a cross,
please. Exactly, and then he cuts in. You know he's going to be. I'm Mehdi Mel. I expected a lot more. I really did. You're agreeing with Yabba on something that is unagreeable. Is it only? But is there anybody else in the chat who's agreeing with Yabba, or is it just Medimel?
Mr. B, how did this story start? How did this topic start? What was the news that came out?
Yes, Anthony, right wing back.
The most important person at the club right now is playing in that position.
Because he's.
So we're branching off on that.
We're padding out the squad. If Anthony starts against Leicester, I'll shut my mouth. If Anthony starts against Leicester, I will apologise. But there's no way he's starting against Leicester, so there's no way I need to. Sorry, against Ipswich. There's no need for me to apologise to you. There's none.
Yeah, but we saw Tom Huddleston and Darren Fletcher in training last year. You pick them up. And also on a different note, I think we're going to take a harder line in the comments with unacceptable abuse towards people, and I can already see some. So, lads,
I can't see the comments. So, yeah.
Well, it's directed at you, obviously.
Andrew Williams, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't see the comments, but I know that he likes to do that.
Yeah.
So. Big, I love you too. I love you, Andrew Williams. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Next kind of 10 days to 10 days, 2 weeks, we're going to try and we want people to be nicer to each other, so that if someone new comes in, they're not like confronted with being called an idiot or homophobic
or
comments.
To suck balls.
Yeah, and stuff like that. So, you've got 2 weeks to kind of begin to police yourselves a little bit, because it's just unacceptable to do it in our house.
So said Amorim.
Yeah. And look, we deserve better. If Anthony plays as a wing back, we are done. I know we deserve better, but we'll see. POTUS, I'm on the side of Yabba.
Wow.
But I feel that Anthony needs one last chance, and if he doesn't perform, then see the door. We don't have time at United to play around with chances, etc.
So I'll give him one.
Yeah, I'm not getting involved with the logistical fallacies. Anthony should be made surplus to requirements. He's really disappointed me. £90 million. Don't apologise to us.
Harbouring onto resentment for things done in the past. Let it go, guys. Let it go.
Is McTominay coming back? I don't think so. He's doing too well in Napoli. Christmas is on the way. I want my TUMA jumper. You're going to have to go and... Well, nothing in life isn't negotiable, I suppose.
Can be done.
You send me enough.
Do some kick-ups. Do 100 kick-ups on camera.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You
can wear the mask
for free.
Yeah.
All right, Dr. Hibbert. Simon's trying to wish you well. Now, I actually want to... I'm just going to address one last story because it's in the thumbnail. And it's about Rasmus Højlund and Mason Mount, about how we've got to kind of get them up. Now, I did a little bit of digging today, and I looked at whose agents, who's represented by whom at the club. Anthony, Mount, and Martinez all have the same agency, and Rasmus and Nana, and there was one other, Amrabat, are with the SEC agency, which was Ten Hag's sons, work for them. But I've got a theory about this, Mr. B.
Oh, I love these.
I think that Rasmus Højlund and Mason Mount are probably two assets that have depreciated in value a lot for the club. Okay? They're not Ineos signings. So the story is that one of Amorim's big tasks is he's got to get Rasmus and Mount performing.
Value up.
Yeah. I think that it's get the value up to sell them. I first of all think that they want the influence of these agents out of the club, because we've moved on to who is it? Who is the Portuguese super agent that did Yoro and Agate?
Mendes.
Yes, we're going back to Mendes, and Amorim being Portuguese. I'd be stunned if he's not represented by Mendes. I think that the plan is because if we don't get Champions League, we've got to sell to buy. I think he's been told you've got to get those two their value up, because they're going to have to finance players coming in.
So you don't think it would be advantageous to have Højlund who's already been in the team for a year, firing? You think they're just getting firing to sell him?
Yeah, I think so. When you look at Rasmus Højlund, the club scouts never wanted him, and they warned that we know that they gave a brief that they didn't really like him. Rasmus came in with huge injury concerns about a fused spine or something like that. He's done well in the Champions League, which is a big thing. He scored goals in the Champions League, and he had a bit of a run, but he's not an Amorim player. He's not an Ashworth player. He's not an Ineos player. Like, I don't think they'll have any attachment to him. And I think they'll feel the same way about Mount. That Mount, homegrown player, like Premiership teams would buy Mason Mount if he was on the market for 25, 30 million, if he can demonstrate he can stay fit for the rest of the season. Like Rasmus Højlund, I think what they're going to try and do is basically try and get a sale instead of a loan. I don't think that there's belief in Rasmus Højlund.
Get his value up before the end of the season so they can get as much of their money back as.
Because otherwise it's Garnacho that we have to sell. He's the only other asset.
But will Garnacho fit in the system? This is where I'm looking at. He needs to fund. He needs to get players. I mean, I thought Mount would have been a good. I think Mount would be a good player to play in the system that he's going to be playing in. But if you're thinking that they're getting into value, I understand the Rasmus one because he can be replaced. They're already looking at his replacement in Gyökeres, So, and then obviously they talk about Rashford doing the role. I wouldn't trust Rashford. He might do well for 5-6 games. If he plays in that position, I want to see him scoring loads and loads of goals. But I just, it's a weird. I understand what you're saying. Them not being Ineos players, but Bruno's not an Ineos player.
He signed a contract under them.
Under Ineos. Okay. And you think there's issues with Martinez, so that's going down and not Ineos. Okay, I mean, look, I'm not going to say you're wrong, but I think they would prefer Rasmus to be banging goals, so they didn't have to sell him and didn't have to get a replacement. But
absolutely, but I mean, I think that your man Amorim, all right. First of all, we got Ashworth, my friend Ashworth. He knows Gyökeres. He bought him. He sold him. He knows the player. He knows players like Evan Ferguson. There was that whole kerfuffle about his secret hard drive full of all the players at Newcastle. That's why we had to pay so much money to get him in. Ashworth is in a position of responsibility, and he'll have a big plan. I'm not sure that Rasmus fits into that. Obviously, the best case scenario is that Rasmus becomes our Gyökeres and is incredible. He demonstrates all the potential and things like that. But the other time, he's a sellable asset. We got to churn through this squad. And when you talk about Garnacho, I think that with Garnacho being in the list of the 10 most valuable players under 21 in the world, along with Kobe Mainu, I'd just be. He's got to be part of the plan for whatever manager came in.
Yeah, but don't you think then that's the club forcing the right? I understand he's a coach. I understand he's not a manager. But you've brought him in to play a style and a system which has obviously worked. It's worked in Europe, so we can't say it's just worked in Portugal because they're doing pretty well in Europe with it. If he doesn't have a Garnacho type player in his team, and it doesn't make up his team with the assets that Garnacho has, surely they've got to sell him instead of trying to force him in or trying to fit him into somewhere.
Well, maybe, but the thing is, right, is that when he had the interview and stuff like that, he had presented his game model and he'd talked about how he sees the team, expectations, what he's going to do differently to the club, all that kind of stuff. But there will have been conversations about players. Rashford will always be in these conversations because of how much he's paid and how he's at the forefront of the marketing and so on. Like, can you get a tune out of Rashford? Is Garnacho, Kobe, and Yoro, how are you going to get them in the team? How are you going to develop them? Because he's a coach. So he's also got to develop them. And they're the players with some of the highest potential in the Premier League, allegedly. Like, and then, further down the line, you've got this Goodwill Nkunku or whatever, and you've got Chido and you've got Coney and things like that. There has to be a plan for Manchester United not to incorporate youth players and develop them. I cannot believe that is not part of the conversation. And he would have been asked, in this system of like wing backs, who do you see as the wing backs, or like what are you looking for there? Because they've also got to like plan transfers and stuff like that. So I can't see a future without Garnacho, our leading goal scorer this season, being involved in that team. And he's probably the player that is most likely to get sold if we can't get big money for a couple of the squaddies. And Mount and Rasmus are squad players now. Yabba.
Yeah, interesting point. I've just been listening. I find it kind of intriguing to think that that's what we have to do at the club. Sometimes I think you have to invest money elsewhere, because the problem for me with the whole situation is, yes, Amorim can turn it around. We don't know what he's going to do with this group of players. I do think, and I think we can all agree, this group of players should be performing better. So if we do raise it a few levels, start scoring goals with the chances we created under Ten Hag, for example, and start finishing our dinner and getting more points, and being more consistent with games, not worrying if we're going to lose every game, or if it's a tight game down at Brighton or whatever. We should be going into games thinking we're going to win. But this is because we're Man United and we're a big club. We need to be in the top four. And this is the pressure that the manager's going to have. So if you're talking about raising someone's stock as an intention to bring them in the side and try to get them to perform, I don't think you can afford to do that. Myself and Mr. B at the weekend, we played our strongest side. I'm sure we started our strongest side because we wanted to win the game first. We're not doing those sentiments, say, let's bring this guy in and try and develop this guy. We can't afford to do that. We want to win, get the points. And the same applies at much, much bigger level for Amorim. He's not going to say, I don't see him saying, all right, let me try and mount out to raise his stock here. It's going to be, he can only do that like by bringing him on. He's a squad player, like you said. And I think when we start winning, performing, I don't think these guys will get an opportunity if they're not a part of that, and their stock's not going to raise in that respect. So it might be a case where, like with Wan-Bissaka, we sell them for half the price, and that's just the be all and end all of it. We cannot afford to sort of get these players out. One thing that stands out for me is a guy playing for Galatasaray right now, Nigerian striker from Napoli, who was Osimhen, who's really highly rated, and everyone in the comments used to talk about him. Oh, you got to get Osimhen, as a top striker, whatever. They sent him on loan. He's on loan now, and they've got Lukaku playing for them, because it's like no one's going to buy him. And outside of the Premiership, you're not going to get that 70 million from any club outside the Premiership, and unless it's Real Madrid or maybe not even Barca, I don't think. So
Saudi.
Yeah, maybe Saudi, but not at that age. I don't see him going there, even though they want players that age. I don't think it's going to happen for Haaland. I'm referring to Haaland. You're not going to get that money back. So you're going to have to take a loss if he's not going to be part of your plans. But I'm still waiting to see. Maybe he can become a player at Man United, because we bought these players. The whole criteria of the players we brought in before Ineos was players that can develop. 23 years old, young Danish striker. He could be the next Elstrup or whatever from the Great Dane from the 80s. He could be something special. He could be. There's some Great Danes and Swedish players playing in Italian football years ago. They occasionally have some great players. Can we develop him into a great player?
Still with John Dahl Thomason.
Well, he was a good player for AC Milan. Do you know what I'm saying? So I just think let's just wait and see. We still don't know. There's a lot of speculation, but I don't want to see Garnacho. I agree with you. I would not like to see Garnacho leave. Yeah. I think he's got a long way to go at the club, and I think he should be established at the club as one of the ones for the future. And I do agree with you that maybe Haaland and who's the other guy you mentioned could be leading? Who? Mount. Mount. Their neck is on the chopping board right now. Their career at Man United is under question. So it's down. It's not down to the manager. It's down to them to see if they really want it, because Mount has the potential to be a really good player. He was in the England setup. He was playing in Champions League finals when he's fit. So can he keep himself fit? Can he really have the mentality to show that he can be a top player at Man United? The opportunity's still there. Haaland, he's got young enough. Can he develop? Can he become a feared striker in the mold of these other great strikers around Europe? That's up to him, and the manager. Combine the forces of the manager with this great CV that he has, great game model, combined with the motivation of a player that wants to succeed at the biggest football club in the world. Then let's see what happens. If that formula doesn't work out, the equation doesn't work out, then it's down to the player, I believe. I don't think it's down to the manager. And let's see what happens with those two. But for me, I don't really fancy either of those players too much. They're not my favourite players, but I wouldn't be surprised, like Anthony, if miraculously they sort of surprise me and turn it around and make me believe.
You wouldn't be surprised if they surprise you.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be. They're not my favourite players. They're not my favourite players. I wouldn't be surprised if they turned it around, because it's all this expectation. We don't know what we're going to see and who's going to perform. Who would have thought that Gyökeres at Coventry would be one of the most sought-after strikers a few years ago? Do you know what I'm saying? You just don't know.
I think, but what we should probably see it like is, you like metaphors, don't you? What do you do when you sell your car?
You know what? I've never sold a car in my life. I've never sold one of my cars because I always run them down till there's nothing there. You know? And that's what I'll be doing with these footballers as well.
All right. Well, normally you wash it, right? Or like when someone's coming to look at your house, you tidy it up and things like that. And I think that what his remit is he's got to tidy Mount and Rasmus up, because if they'll get game time. Like, we've got so many games with Europa League and injuries over Christmas. They'll get game time if they're fit. I think that it's two things. One is got to prove that they're not injury prone, because a lot of our players have that on them. Lisandro Martinez, Mount, Yoro, Højlund, like even Maguire these days. Like, lots of players aren't getting a whole load of games together. But what we've got to be so careful with that, because when we put them in the shop window, or we put them out of play, we've also got to protect their value. Like, we've got what we want on two levels is for them to be performing well for us, but secondly, to be performing well so that, say, a Nottingham Forest or a Brighton or someone think 35, 40 million.
It's wages though, again, isn't it?
That's where we're going to have to take the hit.
Yeah.
Like, Mount's on a lot of money. And he's got the number 7 as well.
Rasmus can get sold. Rasmus and his wages. I don't think he's on mega money. But
he's think about like the market, right? Outside of the Premier League, and as Yabba was saying, like maybe Real Madrid, most transfers are at about 25 million, I think now. 25 to 30 million is the higher end of the European market when you look at Italy and stuff like that. That's cut. Basically, what I think we've got to do is we've got to get these players to perform so that we can sell them to a Premier League team and clear that 30 million barrier. Because we've got Ashworth and we've got all these great people in, apparently, and they know all the players. We're looking to get hungry players and develop them and so on. We need the liquidity in order to go out and get those players. Because Quenda, 40 million, no one is paying that for a 19-year-old. Outside of the super clubs and the Premier League. So, but we need that money. And I think that's why he's been tasked with, maybe this is why Anthony might get a couple of goes at right wing back, maybe reinvent him like Valencia or something. So we can sell
that makes sense. That makes sense. Good point.
Well, we ain't getting top 4 then if that's what he's doing. But yeah, I understand your point now.
There might be huge points deductions for City and Chelsea. You never know. God, everyone's kicking off about Mount on 250k a week. I mean, like,
I think that's what he's on, yeah.
Yeah, I think Yoro's on about like 180 to 200. Like, we pay a lot to our players, and that, to be honest, that's the thing that kills us. Like, no one is going to tell me that Rasmus Højlund at 72 million isn't wildly overpriced. Like, you know, he was maybe a 50 million.
We made justifications, didn't we, at the time? Say, okay, He's young. His value can go up. Do you know what I mean? Remember we were saying that?
Yeah,
All right,
but
it's a lot of money.
the wages.
Maybe he can improve and then become that £70 million pound player. And he's still got opportunity to do that. His contract's still running. I think still got opportunity to become that £70 million player that we're looking at. How much were they going for this Swedish guy, Djokovic? Not Djokovic. They're talking about 62 for him. You know, is he much better than?
Yes.
Is he?
Yes, he's much better.
Really?
He scores goals.
What in the Portuguese league for one of the better teams
in Europe?
In Europe, so did Haaland. Haaland scored a lot of goals in Champions League last season.
Yeah, but not as many as Gyökeres. But the point that I want to make is not about.
Sorry. When Gyökeres was Haaland's age, he was playing in the Championship.
That's what. Yeah, and Haaland is playing like a Championship player. But the point I want to make is that the transfer fees don't annoy me when we overpay, because that's just a bit of a hit. It's the wages that is the real problem, because we can't sell them
4-year contract. Yeah,
that's why we get mugged off. Because you were talking about having a Premiership team but purchase players of us. But when you look at it, I know Napoli bought McTominay for.
He was on 60k though.
Yeah, and then Fred, I don't know what Fred went for, and then we got Wan-Bissaka went for like a fraction of what we paid for him. And then I'm looking at Elanga, for example. Elanga's doing really well. They're flying high. They're 5th, I think, or 6th on the table. And Elanga went pretty cheap as well. So I think they would not pay big money. Particularly, they would look at us and say, they're going to sort of, as Mr. B would say, they're going to sort of hustle us and make us look stupid, and end up sending, if we are going to sell to the Premiership team, make us sell for kind of cheap. We tried that with Maguire. We tried to get good money for Maguire with West Ham. We had the money, but they're like, nah, we're going to fleece you. That's the word, fleece, as Mr. B says.
Apparently, when I was doing my reading about agents and stuff today, apparently one of the theories behind Maguire's transfer breaking down is that the head of SEC, which is that agency associated with Ten Hag, took over the transfer negotiations, and the payment that would have gone to Maguire to bump him off was going to go to him instead, and that's kind of why the transfer fell down, and that was the beginning of the sort of worry about the sort of like the super Dutch influence at the club, because it's a conflict of interests essentially. But my point, Gabba, is that if you add in Dan James to those list of players, we might have got fleeced a little bit. I think we did on Elanga and so on. But we were we gave ourselves the opportunity to be fleeced because those players were not on crazy wages. And when you look at like the Kevin De Bruyne's and the Salahs and the players that have done it and are at the end of their career, essentially, like, you know, they're into their like 30s now, isn't it? Like De Bruyne 33, Salah 32 or something, like their last big contract, and they're crucial to their teams that are winning stuff. To give this money to Mason Mount and Anthony and Casemiro and Rashford, it's absolutely crazy. It's like we're cutting our nose to spite our face by doing it, and it's got to stop.
I think it will. Like I said, are you happy with Ineos? What the way they're thinking, what they're trying to do? Are you happy about their appointments and, you know, the direction we're going in? I am.
I mean, look, one of the issues that I have, right, is that we had essentially to sack Fergie in order to be able to sack Ten Hag. Like, we're now like cutting down the disabled section and its budget by half. Like, we're in desperate need of money. You know, like there was all that stuff about Christmas dues being cancelled, like no one getting their comp tickets to the FA Cup final, and like not the players, but the people that work around the club, that, you know, the people that take pride in their job and so on. And then when we're linked to Alphonso Davies on 300 grand a week and stuff, I'm not a fan of that. I think that there needs to be that we need to, before we're gutting disabled sections and things like that, I think we need to be gutting the squad.
Well, that's the intention. Yeah, I agree. We all agree with you last time, but we all agree we need to pick up the squad, but how do you go about it? You said about getting these players to raise their stock by performing well. Are they going to get an opportunity to perform well? We discussed that. That's, you know, it's going to be hard to do it, but somehow we have to do it without getting fleeced or mugged off by clubs trying to take these players from us if they really want them. Who really wants them? You said Dora, guys, if you haven't seen it, Dora done a great show last week talking about heritage. Marino, remember that great quote from Marino talking about the heritage of the players and the players that have left the club. What have they gone on to become? And you know, when you look at them, there's not many players that left Man United over the years who had the heritage to go somewhere else and become bigger and prove that they're great players. You know, look who's left in recent years, and you can't find me a player that's gone on to do really well elsewhere.
Damian.
Very rare.
Damian Blind. Ashley Young.
We looked at that. Yeah. We looked at that, and Elanga maybe as well you could throw in. But a lot of these players, like say, he's gone down. He's playing. He's on loan. He's not first team at Lille still. You know. So yeah, it's not been a great success rate with these players going on, moving on.
All right, look, we've done almost an hour and a half because I wasn't paying attention.
Good.
We continue this tomorrow, I think, because there's a lot to talk about, and there's a lot of rot at the club, and as like we want to be much more happy and positive with Amorim coming in, but at the same time, I don't want to set our expectations sky high, and I certainly don't want to talk about this nonsense about Paul Pogba training at the football club. Can you imagine?
Oh, God. Oh, just yeah, they're doing him a favour. He'll do his job and then he'll go to Miami to play with.
No, he's not even coming. It was just made up.
Oh, it was made up. Well, there you go. Makes it even worse then. But that's this look, and how much people spoke about it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Look how much people spoke about it. It's just, stick our name on anything, man, and it sells. That's what they do.
All right, should we lack a notch it?
Lack a notch.
Lack a notch, guys.
Thank you very much for watching. We're back tomorrow. Lack a notch from everyone.